Prepare yourself. What you're about to hear might shake the way your mind has been controlling your life. You think you're safe, but maybe you're just stuck. Every day, you wake up. You get up, do what needs to be done, answer messages, finish tasks. And by the end of the day, there's that quiet emptiness, as if a part of you got lost somewhere along the way. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of purpose. It's your brain operating in survival mode. It wants everything to stay the same. Because sameness feels predictable, and predictable feels safe. But what no one tells you is that comfort, that illusion of peace, is the most beautiful prison your brain ever built. Your brain protects you, but it also keeps you still. It wants you to stay in what's familiar, because that's where it's in control. And so you live inside a predictable routine, calling it stability. But deep down, you feel it. You're not really living. You're just repeating. Thousands of people are just like you right now. Their eyes are open, but inside, they're still asleep. Waking up is not the same as awakening. And as long as you keep calling your prison safety, life will keep happening outside your walls. But everything changes the moment you finally see the walls for what they are. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. You are not stuck. Your brain is. It was designed to protect you, not to transform you. The brain doesn't seek happiness. It seeks predictability. When everything is predictable, it relaxes. When something changes, it sounds the alarm, as if the new were dangerous. But new doesn't mean dangerous. New simply means uncertain, and the brain mistakes uncertainty for risk. That's why every time you try to change, to shift a habit, a relationship, a pattern, you feel fear. But the fear isn't in the future. It's in the body. The amygdala activates, sending waves of alert to keep you right where you are. And then, the rational mind creates perfect stories to make you give up. Now isn't the time. You're not ready yet. What if it fails? Those thoughts aren't truths. They're protection mechanisms. The voices of the cage asking you not to leave. Here's the secret. The brain saves energy by repeating what it already knows. Every thought from yesterday leaves a trace, and that trace becomes a road. The more you walk that road, the easier it becomes to walk again. More automatic, more comfortable, more predictable. And comfort turns into routine. Routine turns into numbness, and numbness becomes a prison. False safety begins when your brain calls the familiar peace. But what it really means is, please don't make me spend energy thinking differently. As long as you believe discomfort is your enemy, you'll keep obeying the brain and calling it logic. But there's another kind of intelligence, deeper, older, that doesn't come from the mind. It comes from consciousness. It's the whisper that calls you to grow even when your body says no. It's the spark that says, there's something greater waiting for me outside this box. When fear appears, don't fight it. Watch it. Recognize it as your brain trying to save energy. And gently say, I know you're trying to protect me, but I'm here to evolve. That's the moment awareness takes the wheel, and the brain simply follows. You think you're living new stories, but deep down, you're reliving the old ones. Different faces, different places, but the same feeling. What if I told you your brain does this on purpose? It doesn't want you to change. It wants you to repeat. You don't repeat situations. You repeat emotions. Rejection, guilt, the fear of not being enough. All of it is just your body asking for the same emotional chemistry as yesterday. Because what your body calls safety is often just the fear it learned to love. You think you've moved on, but the brain pulls you back. It creates thoughts, coincidences, reunions, all to bring you back to the emotion it already knows. You call it bad luck, but it's just the biology of repetition. To the brain, familiar pain is a victory, because it survived it once, and it wants to survive it again. But surviving isn't the same as living, and that's where the inner conflict begins. The body wants the familiar, the soul craves the new. And while they fight, you feel that emptiness, that quiet exhaustion you can't explain. With every repeated thought, you strengthen the road of the past. With every reactivated emotion, you reinforce the same pattern. That's why change hurts. Because change is the death of the old self. Your brain still tries to protect. But there's something your brain doesn't control: consciousness. Consciousness observes. Consciousness chooses. Consciousness is the exit from the loop. When you become aware of the repetition, it loses power. And in that moment, the box begins to crack. And in the next step, you'll feel that crack widening and realize that the light was always inside you. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Once more. Slower this time. Now. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a dark, open space. You don't know where you are, but there's a golden light around your body, soft, pulsing, alive. That light is who you truly are: consciousness, presence, power. But around that light there's a box, a golden, translucent box that seems to protect you. It feels comfortable, quiet, safe. For a moment you believe you're fine in there. Everything is predictable, nothing threatens you. But slowly you begin to notice something. You're not growing. The box is beautiful, but it's too small for the size of your soul. And then a question rises inside you. What if this safety was always a prison? Look at the golden walls of the box. They're made of memories, of familiar emotions, of stories you keep repeating just to keep existing. Each wall carries a name: fear, guilt, control, attachment. You've touched those walls for so many years that you started calling them home. Now, bring your hand to your heart. Feel it beating. It still moves, but it feels trapped, as if it's beating with less space. Notice how your body tightens inside the box. It wants to move, but the brain whispers, "Stay. It's safe here," and you obey, like you always have. But something changes now. A crack appears, small, almost invisible, right in front of your eyes. And through that crack, a ray of golden light escapes. That light comes from within you. With every breath, the crack grows. Breathe. Once more. Let the light out. The box trembles. The walls vibrate. You feel fear, but you also feel freedom. Fear tries to hold you back. Freedom whispers, "Go." Which voice will you choose to follow now? As you decide, watch the light spread. It moves through the cracks. Remember when new used to feel dangerous? Look now. New is just light trying to enter. Touch the wall of the box. It's still there, but it's warm. And when you touch it, it begins to dissolve. The gold turns into luminous dust, and that dust merges with your skin. You realize you were never the box. You were always the light trying to escape it. Now feel the space around you. Wide, open, breathable. The body relaxes. The chest expands. The mind becomes quiet. There are no walls, only energy in motion, the same energy you once tried to avoid. And now it's yours. The box is gone. But part of you still looks back, afraid of losing what was familiar. And this is where the real awakening begins. Because freedom isn't just about leaving the box. It's about learning how to live without needing one. Feel that golden light moving through your body, from your feet to your head. Breathe inside it. This is your new inner space, and it needs no walls. You've learned how to survive protected. Now you'll learn how to live expanded. And in the next step, you'll discover how to reprogram your brain so it can finally work for your expansion, not against it. You've already stepped out of the box. Now the challenge is to stay out. The brain doesn't accept change quietly. It will try to pull you back. It will send thoughts disguised as logic. You won't make it. This is too much for you. Maybe it's not the right time. But now you know. Those voices aren't truth. They're echoes of an old system trying to regain control. What if you could reprogram that system today? Not to protect yourself from the world, but to live in it consciously. Breathe, feel the air coming in. Every breath is a message to your brain. I am safe. As you inhale, think, I can change. As you exhale, think, I choose to grow. Repeat it 3 times in silence. You're creating a new neural pathway. Neuroplasticity isn't just theory. It's the silent miracle of a brain that reshapes itself when you choose to think differently. But for that to happen, you must act differently. Every day, do something that challenges your old self. Not to suffer, but to prove to your brain that new can be safe. When you feel like quitting, stay 1 more minute. When fear appears, look at it and whisper, this is only energy in motion. At the end of the day, ask yourself, did I expand today, or did I defend myself? Small shifts change your chemistry. And when your chemistry changes, life responds. The brain learns through repetition, not through understanding. So repeat, with intention, with presence, with love. You don't need to force the new. You just need to remember it every day. Each time you think consciously, an old neural thread dissolves. Each time you act with awareness, a new one is formed. That's how life changes, not in a single day of inspiration, but through days of consistency. Feel your brain calm, your heart open, your body here. This is where reprogramming happens. You don't need to fight the brain. You just need to teach it that growth is also safe. And it begins now. Repeat silently. I am the consciousness behind my thoughts. I am not the box. I am the light that created it. Feel your body respond. This is how the mind knows it has changed. Now you understand how it works. Thought arrow emotion, arrow action, arrow reality. And with every conscious choice, you restart that cycle on a higher frequency. But there's still something left to say, something no method or technique can teach. The secret that brings all of this to life. And that's what we'll talk about next. Do you feel it? The box is gone. But something inside you remains silent, trying to understand what just happened. This silence is the space between the old and the new. It's where the brain goes quiet, and consciousness finally begins to speak. For so long, you believed you were protecting yourself, but in truth, you were only hiding. False safety always disguises itself as peace. It whispers, stay. Nothing can hurt you here. But what it doesn't tell you is that when you protect yourself from pain, you also protect yourself from life. How many opportunities have you let pass because fear felt safer than movement? How many times have you called it fate when it was only resistance? Now, breathe. Feel your body expand. Feel the air come and go, slowly. You don't need promises, you need presence. And it's in presence that the new begins to appear. It's there that you realize there is no past to fix, no future to fear, only this moment. where the brain surrenders and the heart takes the lead. Everything the brain once feared, you've already walked through. Everything that felt impossible, you've already started to transform. And even if fear still lingers, remember this: fear is only proof that you're leaving the right box behind. Every awakening begins with discomfort, and every discomfort is consciousness inviting you. Grow, expand, live. You are not the thought that doubts. You are the one who sees. You are not the body that shakes. You are the one who feels. You are not the past that repeats. You are the one who chooses the now. Today, you reprogrammed more than your brain. You reprogrammed the way you exist. And if this message brought you peace, inspiration, or courage, it's because something within you recognized the truth. Life begins where comfort ends. Let that phrase echo inside you. Life begins where comfort ends. And every time fear tries to pull you back, remember this moment. Close your eyes, breathe, and return to the light you found within. This is your place of power, and it has always been inside you. If this message touched you, subscribe to the Sacred Brain. Here, every week we break another wall of the mind. Here, you learn to think differently, to feel differently, and above all, to live consciously. Because the world doesn't need more people who are awake. It needs people who are truly awake within.